What is up?
Like old school, on Monday, doing the podcast.
Now that is an introduction. Hello.
How are you, Mike?
Good, Vinny. Man,
what have you been up to?
You can't get better than that introduction.
It's always fun. Always good.
What have I been up to? Oh, crying in my sorrows with the Yankees.
We'll go into all that in a minute. All right, before we go into all that,
But I'm going to balance that out and keep my optimism out with our New York
E-T-S, touch.
Woo!
By the way, my Raiders won 34-7 in preseason yesterday.
Yeah, how serious do you take preseason?
Zero.
Absolutely
zero. But for some reason, the Ravens have won 24 straight preseason games. Explain that one.
Holy shit.
All right, Vin and Mike.
Good.
Brought to you by KKFI, Pat Mahomes, Kansas City. Watched him play one series yesterday. Looks like his ankle's feeling better and he's ready to win another Super Bowl. Best player in football right now. And of course, Vin and Mike podcast.com, the store. Buy a shirt, buy a sticker, buy a cover for your laptop. I don't care. Buy something. All proceeds, charity. We know that, all that. All right. Yeah, so the Ravens have not lost a preseason game, I think, from 2016, something like that. 2015. They won 24 straight preseason games, which is unexplainable, totally unexplainable.
Yeah, I never even heard of it.
Because, quarterback situations, guys that never play in the NFL situations. The whole thing makes zero sense. But they've continued to win every single preseason game.
Can you imagine you're a gambler and you're like this diehard? You're just betting preseason, which
just riding the Ravens for the last 7 years.
Imagine you got these people who are like, they're going to lose the next one. They've won 20-something straight and they keep winning.
You would think eventually. It's preseason. You would think somewhere in this crazy, insane world that they would lose, but they haven't. They haven't lost. So, all right. We want to start with the good, or do we want to start with the bad?
Let's get.
Or do we want to start with saying that Derek Jeter will be at Old Timers Day?
I think that's a great thing. Yeah, let's start out with that because I think our audience will be happy to hear that until we get into this current.
The Yankees will be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the greatest baseball team ever assembled, the 1998 Yankees, right? And part of the 25th anniversary at his first Old Timers game will be Derek Jeter. So, do you think he gets up and hits? Do you think he'll play?
Yes,
he'll play. He'll play short. He'll lead off. Maybe Ron Guidry will pitch against them, and then
maybe the current Yankees will sign him to a.
Yeah, he'll hit a longer home run than Anthony Volpe has hit all season.
Right.
Volpe will get traded, and Jeter will be playing shortstop at 49 years old.
Come back.
Now, it'd be nice to see, in all seriousness, September 9th, it'll be nice to see Jeter. I'm hoping we'll see Posada and Mariano and Pettit and all the great 98 Yankees, Bernie, and all those guys, O'Neill and Tino. Just go right down the list and to celebrate it. And Joe Torre should be there as well. Maybe they'll offer him a job too. So
what you're saying is the Yankees will be prospecting old timers.
Well, they refuse to trade their young prospects who turn out to be nothing but a AAA player. So at least bring in guys that are Hall of Famers and let them play.
Yeah,
so, I don't know, but this team, we'll just jump right into it, Mike. This team is 16-58. That means we have 44 games to go. They got to win 30, right? You figure you got to get to 90 wins to make the playoffs. Let's be fair there. That means they got to go 30-14 over the last 44. So essentially, their season's over. They have not.
They haven't won a series. They haven't won an actual series
Months.
in months.
I think they won one series since like June or July 1st. Something
and they're playing the Braves. It doesn't get any easier for them.
Oh, they just. First of all, they're probably playing the best team in baseball. I think Atlanta is probably the best team in baseball. And then this team, I don't know. I mean, I thought we were going to have a little momentum, win a series, be 61-57 after Sunday, looking positive on the road against a pretty good Marlins team, young team, and they just totally blew that game in the ninth inning last night. Clay Holmes just was ridiculously awful. It was just.
But this has been the story this year.
But we talked about it. We've talked about it, right? They're a 500 team. They play like a 500 team.
Yep. I was going to say that Garrett Cole, more so than not, has pitched outstanding, right?
Yeah.
And then, they scored 7 runs, so the hitting was there. But then these relief pitching, you bring in Holmes, you give up 5 runs in the ninth, totally unacceptable, right? This was probably and there's been some bad losses. This was definitely, I think, the worst, the way it happened. And it just really, again, these rubber games, a chance for Yankees to take the series, they lose another, and then you got to go in and play this Atlanta team, right? There's just the enthusiasm's not there. And what do we talk about? People come up to me and they're like, oh, the Yankees should do what the Mets did. Well, who the hell wants any of them? Like who?
The only guy that's tradable that anyone wants is Aaron Judge.
Maybe Glaber.
Well, supposedly they had some trades set, and Hal said, no, we're not doing that.
So that's the biggest problem. Like, you're getting limited hitting, and that's it. So it reminds me, Vinny, of Don Mattingly from like 1989 to like 92, 93, when he was the one really carrying that team. They were a 500 team. If you asked who was on that team, it was really Mattingly who carried that team. It's like Aaron Judge. This is the comparison. He wasn't really getting any reinforcements. I think the only difference back then was there was really not good pitching at all.
No. So Yankees have some starters, Rodon, terrible year, injured all season. We'll see if he can recover going into next year. I'm not sure if Nestor Cortez is ever going to be the same pitcher again. His shoulder is slowly fading away. Severino has been god-awful. He's been ridiculously terrible. Clark Schmidt's been good, especially, after the first 2 months of the season. He's been very solid. We know Cole pitched Cy Young worthy all season. And Frankie Montas, well, maybe we'll get him back. But really, it's a team, like you said, Mike, Aaron Judge, maybe a little Glaber Torres. Volpe's shown a little power and speed, still just not consistently hitting every day. We'd like to see him get up to 250, but, ever since Rizzo got run into, he's had to have a concussion since then, because he's having a really nice season until he got run into, and he fell off after that, and now he's on the injured list with those concussion-like syndromes. My feeling is he's probably had it for 3 months, just hasn't really reported it or anything, and it's finally caught up to him. Stanton is what he is. He's gonna hit once in a while, and then
so there's that.
I don't know. This team has nothing that's going to say to you, yes, we're going to go on a roll. I mean, they don't have enough starting pitching. They don't have enough hitting. The bullpen is good. Holmes really blew it, but overall the bullpen is good. But the other two areas, they just don't inspire you. How many games is Cole and Judge going to win for you? I mean, those are the only, Cole pitches every 5 days. Now, Judge can't hit every single time up. So I don't know what people expect from this team. They're dead last in the AL East. That's the other thing. Boston, Toronto, Tampa, Baltimore, all ahead of them. And they're just not a good team. They're just not. And this is a 500 team over the last I don't know, was it 250 games or something like that? That's some crazy number where they're just barely like 500. So this is the team we got. And we got Brian Cashman running a team who hasn't won a World Series since 2009, right? Hasn't been in a World Series since 2009. So we're going into year 14 of this, right? And, Hal said there's no reason for him not to come back. Whatever. I don't get it. Aaron Boone, really is probably going to be the scapegoat in this whole thing. And he deserves to be. He hasn't managed well. He's been bad with moves in the bullpen, bad with lineup moves, benching guys, sitting guys, the whole thing. He put Aaron Hicks out there every other day until they traded him. He put Joey Gallo out there every day until they traded him. It's just the whole thing. Volpe, we talked about him probably, should he have been sent down? I don't know. At the end of the day, the guy's probably going to hit 20 home runs and have 30 stolen bases for a rookie, which is a good season. But I wanted him to bat 260, 270, show some life here in the second half. I get it. Young guy, maybe start off slow, get into July, August, September, catches on, gets that average up, and he's just been consistently a 200 hitter all year. So I'm not sure where that moves going into next year. But they look at next year. They got Anthony Volpe, Gleyber Torres, and Aaron Judge. That's their core of their team, right? Everybody else doesn't count. There's not a single other player that you have any confidence in. They don't have a single other young guy, Peraza, Cabrera. None of them make you feel good. So I don't know. I really don't. At this point, seeing Joey Gallo go 4 for 4 the other day with 2 home runs was more exciting than the Yankees, winning a game. It's just like crazy. It's just the insanity that we're dealing with here. This is like I always say, Mike. This is the New York Yankees, right?
Yeah.
There is no salary cap. There is no structure in place when it comes to paying for players. Yes, there's this luxury tax, but doesn't count, right? So you have to make the moves. This is a team built on World Series championships. That's what the city expects out of them, especially the way things are built in baseball. It's built for teams that have the revenue and the ability to sign guys to win. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers continually win because they have guys in place, the Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Bettses of the world. They put them together along with the pitching staff and paid the money for that. The Braves are a little anomaly because they're young, but they still paid their guys that they had to. But, the Yankees should be competitive every year. We should not see the Tampa Bay Rays, the Baltimore Orioles ahead of them. It just shouldn't be like that. It just shouldn't. I'm sorry. No, I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
They're not. Rest in peace. But if George Steinbrenner was still alive, this would never happen.
Get it. Come on.
He would have took care of this. They lost like 2 in a row. He would have took care of it.
Listen, George was probably way over the top. He was a little
but he
but in this kind of situation, listen, Hal is like too quiet on this situation, like not making the moves. George would have traded for Max Scherzer. Let's be real. He would have said, call the Mets up and get me Scherzer. Call the Mets up and get me Verlander. He wouldn't have let Scherzer leave New York. He definitely wouldn't have let Verlander go back to Houston.
No.
He would have said,
and that's the difference. They weren't aggressive. And now, where are you? You're in this place where you're stuck now.
Yeah. If it's true that the Yankees had trades in place for Severino and those other guys, and Hal didn't let it go through, well, you can't blame Cashman at that point. He was trying to make a move, and if the owner's stopping you, you can't blame the GM, right? And Hal said, healthy team, put this team on the field. If Aaron Boone can't win with this team, I'm going to have to make a decision at manager. The team is essentially healthy. Carlos Rodon and Cortez are hurt, but they don't win. They don't win for Cole. They don't win for Clark Schmidt. They don't win in these other games. Yesterday was ridiculous. That's really what it comes down to. Yesterday was a ridiculous game, and that's the biggest problem. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and it's not like, listen, we cover this on the show every week, as you say. They're a 500 team, if that, and that's all they're going to be.
Yeah,
until you make adjustments, until you get aggressive. This is what it is.
I want Steve to know we're in full support of him. I don't consider him a negative Yankee fan at this point. If we were 80 and 38, that's a whole different story. But
he would still complain, but now
okay, yeah, then we could call him a negative fan at that point. But at 60 and 58, he's got every right to say the nail was in the coffin, as he texted yesterday.
Yeah,
right? That's what he said. The nail was put in the coffin yesterday.
It could have been. That game was
so bad, so bad. All right, let's flip the switch because I'm tired of talking about the negative. I want to hear some positive stuff. Your man Aaron Rodgers mentoring Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner really like going at it in a competitive, fun, teammate kind of way. A positive, team on Hard Knocks. They look. Some people think a little overconfident. I just thought positive. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has got them definitely thinking a whole different way about things. I really like the approach. I think everybody is excited about seeing Aaron Rodgers actually on the field. Go ahead, give me some of your thoughts with Hard Knocks, the whole thing.
So obviously there's been so much hype with the Jets.
Right.
And I love it because if people say they're overconfident, I'd rather have them be overconfident than underconfident. But what you see in Hard Knocks, for those who haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but highly recommend you watching it. What came out of it for me, I had people who called me who are not Jets fans even and said, you know what, after something like that, we got to cheer for Aaron Rodgers. He came off as very likable. And we talked about before he went to New York that there was a lot of skepticism, including myself, with just the attitude of coming here and being a winner. But you watch that and you come out of that and said, man, I cannot wait till the first game Monday night in a month because he's working on the sidelines with everyone. The Zach Wilson, the relationship with that is good for Zach Wilson too. A lot of people thought he was going to be shipped out. Now he's still there, but he has a chance to really redeem himself and his image. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers has been so great to him as a mentor, and Zach has been very receptive to that. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. I mean, these guys speaking in that show, they've been so good and taking a liking to Aaron Rodgers and working with him. And I just see the team chemistry, right? And then Salah he made a speech about the one thing I'll say is about just how a crow and an eagle and how the only bird that can attack an eagle is a crow. And just you'll have to watch it for yourself to really see that analogy. But it was just interesting. And basically it sums up that the Jets, they're going to hear from all angles, but just to stay focused and be yourself and get out there. This is what I'll say, that this is a team that won 7 games last year. A team that won 7 games with 3 rotating quarterbacks and a hell of a lot of injuries, right? Now you have a quarterback of Aaron Rodgers. Knock on wood, you have a core that's, relatively healthy right now. And this is a team that should win 10 or 11 games. They should make the playoffs, and it's all there for them right now. So, again, as a Jets fan, I'm not going to get too optimistic, but I really love what I saw in the first episode of Hard Knocks as far as the team chemistry, the excitement, what lies ahead, the maturity of Zach Wilson. I love seeing again, the relationship between him and Sauce Gardner too. And just also with Sauce Gardner, I didn't realize how tiny he was. It's just like making those, he's a tiny guy, but making those plays. And
he's like long and lean, right? Sauce
right.
Gardner.
Yeah. And also, again, just the depth is just there. I mean, you got people even in the last preseason game, like Michael Carter, had a good game. You have, the tight end Azuma. It's just really exciting right now. The Jets are really stacked,
Yeah, I mean, really, we don't hear a lot of Giants talk in New York, right? I mean, they're right there, playoff team last year. The people have some high expectations for them, but you don't hear any of it, right? It's all Aaron Rodgers. It's all Jets, right? And he's embracing it and pushing forward with it and everything that comes along with it. I will say, one of the numbers I heard this morning was the Jets in preseason have the quickest pass plays after snap. It's like 2.3 seconds or something. So I think that has something to do with Nathaniel Hackett's offense, how he likes to run it, and I think Zach Wilson is bought into what Aaron Rodgers is mentoring him with. They've had a relationship for a while when they had some combined practices when he was with Green Bay, and of course Wilson was the young starter there in New York, and I think that's rolled over. They continue to have that relationship, and it's continued as teammates now, and I think that's helped Zach Wilson. So hopefully for Jet fans in the next 2 years, of course you want your Super Bowl, but you expect Rodgers probably to walk away after those 2 years, and Zach Wilson maybe will mature under Rodgers, learn a lot, and be a different quarterback. That's what we hope for from that. But this year, like I said, Mike, those first 6 games, that's the season right off the bat. You wanna be really positive in those first 6 games. You want to try to figure out a way to come out on that Monday night game, right, and really put your best foot forward. And Rodgers had to come out and really, show that he is the franchise quarterback that they've always needed, and this is how we're going to win games, and we're better than this Buffalo team, because I thought they showed a lot of that last year in both games that they played them. Yeah. And I think they can definitely use that momentum moving forward, and I would expect to see a better offensive team from the Jets, especially with Rodgers, against the Patriots, some of those other Miami games, and all these games where they didn't really show big offensive numbers to really come out there and score points. I think they have a big time defense, and if they can control the ball a little bit more offensively, you'll see even more of a positive from the defense not being out there. Maybe they shock you and win 13 games instead of 10 or 11, right? I mean, it's all a work in progress, but this is a team that shows a lot of positive. I think they're ready to really roll. I know the fans are very much like yourself, and people I talk to are very excited to see what Rodgers comes out with in that week 1. I'm telling you, they beat Buffalo week 1. Like I said, that Tuesday will be a very hyped New York town. It'll be a very hyped NFL. You'll turn on your ESPN, your Fox Sports, your local radio, whatever. It will be all Aaron Rodgers. It will be an extremely hyped up New York town across the board.
Yeah. I told you that I compared this first game to what the Giants did last year with their coach going for that 2-point conversion.
Right.
That I think changed the scope, the momentum for the season for them.
Yeah.
1 game. And to me, with Vinny, like you put it best, their first 6 games are extremely difficult. After that, you got to go to Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to play in that frame. I forget the exact game. You got to play Denver in Denver. You got to play the Patriots. You got to play the Eagles. So this is and the Chiefs, which I'm trying to go to, by the way. So
okay,
we'll see.
Free tickets.
Yeah, free tickets, sure. But listen, like I think as a Jet fan, and it's been a long run, but I've never been so excited for a season because I just feel like everything's there.
It's the best quarterback in the history of the franchise. That's what it comes down to.
And his attitude's been awesome. And he even said, he made a joke, and I gotta say one thing. He said a joke, and he goes, The fans are really happy that you're here. He's like, yeah, for now. He knows that, and that's basically implicating that he knows New York fans are tough. You have to produce in New York, and one bad game, you get on their ass. But I feel like
this team, I'll tell you, this team cannot go 8-9.
No. Am I wrong to say that with all this talent and Aaron Rodgers, we talked about the 2-year window, if the Jets do not make the playoffs, it'll be one of the biggest busts, I think, in NFL history. I do.
I wouldn't say
it's up there.
1 year, but if both years they don't make the playoffs and he's healthy both years, forget it.
Forget it.
Yeah.
This is the window.
You could just remember that 1969 because you'll never win a Super Bowl again.
Thank you.
Especially if they don't make the playoffs. Not that they're going to win a Super Bowl in those 2 years, but they should be in the playoffs with the team that they have.
Yeah.
I know the AFC is tough. I know there's a lot of good teams there, but they're one of the best defensive teams in the NFL. Might as well the AFC. And they added the missing piece. Really, the quarterback was a missing piece from that team. They should make the playoffs. They should win 10, 11 games, make the playoffs. I'm not saying they need to win the division. I honestly think they're going to have a good shot, but they should be a wild card team, especially with the 7 teams that now make it to the wild card. There should be one of those, and they go from there. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, talking about the Patriots, they decided today to add Ezekiel Elliott to their backfield.
Yeah. Well,
are you scared?
Yeah, I'm a little scared. What am I going to be happy about it?
He's all right. I think he's a shell of what he used to be. He'll be a backup.
No, listen, it's not what he used to be, but
he'll be a backup to Stevenson.
The guy, it's up to what are they doing?
But one of the key points today, listening to the analysis on it, and I forgot this, and it was good to hear, is that he's actually a good blocking running back. Like, he's the kind of guy that you want in there on third down to help Mac Jones maybe pick up blitz, like little things like that.
Right.
But I don't know. New England, to me, right now, they look like the 4th best team in that division. I don't know what you think about.
Well, I think it's an underrated signing. He's one of the best backs of our generation. Over a 4-year period, and he's going to help them. And even though he's not what he was, he's still going to give something to that team. So I think it's a good signing.
I think it relieves I think Stevenson is a big time back. He's a 1,400 yard kind of back. And I think with Elliott there, you don't put all the stress on the guy, right? That's really what comes down to. And still, Elliott is a good goal line back too. He still can punch the ball into the end zone when he has to. So. But again, I just don't. I don't know. I don't see New England as an exciting team anymore. I don't see Bill Belichick as an exciting coach. I don't know. It's just very weird there. Maybe because they've been a 500 team the last 3 years.
Yeah.
No Brady, no nothing, right?
I know.
I mean, it's crazy to think that. Was Brady like that good, right? I mean,
well, you know that answer.
Yeah, it's a yes. It's a yes answer. It's a yes, sir. Have you watched any preseason at all?
Yeah, I watched a little. All right, here's the thing with preseason. I guess I have no patience, so
yeah, because it's watching the USFL again.
It's just that it doesn't matter if you win or lose. I could watch a couple of the second string people. It's it was nice seeing Zach take a couple. The first game, that home Hall of Fame game. Yeah. You're seeing some decent talent there, but my attention span to watch that is so limited because I just want to see the real thing. It doesn't mean anything if you're how many preseason games you played? Like 4, 5, whatever.
3.
Three?
3 now. Yeah.
3. Whether you go 3-0 or 0-3, it doesn't matter, right? So I think it's nice to have Arn. You watch it a little bit, but Yeah, I when I say watch it, it's like I have it in the background and I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, that's honestly, I was watching the NASCAR race.
Right.
It was over,
Yeah.
and the Raiders were on the NFL Network, and I put it on, and I ended up playing a video game like with my son as that was the background to while we were playing a game, right? So,
Yeah.
it's just on. Your man Sam Darnold was playing. I'll tell you that.
Think about what's happened, like with the Jets, with the Sam Darnold, Zach. It's just crazy, like the shuffling, right? So
Two very high picks, right?
high picks.
Very high.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold is probably, I don't even know if he's going to make the 49ers team. I'll be honest. He might because they might trade Trey Lance. That's maybe something they do because Purdy's got the job.
Yeah.
I mean, Purdy's team. And we know Zach is going to back up Rodgers. It's crazy to think that those guys were drafted as franchise guys and essentially like out of the league.
It happened so quick.
Talking about quarterbacks, and the worst thing I've heard in many years, many years. So our good friend Colin Coward decided to list 20 quarterbacks definitely not going to a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
And he ends up saying Dwayne Haskins as one of the guys. And I'm sitting there going, does he realize that Dwayne Haskins died 2 years ago? Like who is giving this guy this list?
Right. Oh, he's got this. He should know that himself, but whoever's research team is like.
And other guys on the list were like EJ Manuel, Josh Rosen, Paxton Lynch. I mean, guys that are out of the league. They're not even on teams. He could have listed me as one of the quarterbacks, and he would have been right. You can't list guys that aren't.
I'm really shocked by that because that's a guy who usually does his whole. I mean, it's shocking that he would say.
Yeah, that was terrible. So
you know why? Because Joy's not there anymore.
That's right. Joy Taylor would have smacked him in the head.
Like she would never give that information.
By the way, do you know she said today? You know what's one of the things that's inevitable? That someone on the 49ers will be hurt. One of the quarterbacks is going down. Something inevitable. She's funny. So, Kevin Brown,
yeah, let's talk
former
about it.
pitcher, but the Orioles broadcaster, as we know, returned. I think a couple days ago. I think Friday. He returned Thursday. He was suspended supposedly. They didn't actually say he was suspended, but he was suspended. And he was supposedly suspended for saying how bad the Orioles were playing against Tampa in Tampa the previous 3 seasons, and that this year's they got more wins against Tampa than they had in like the last 3. And Orioles management did not like that he pointed out that whole thing, and they suspended him for it. But a couple of points to that. One, the broadcast crew had all those stats. They had it all up on the monitors. So it was something planned. It wasn't like they just came up with it. And 2, I understand the Orioles and I think the Nationals own that network or whatever, but they shouldn't be involved in that part of the game. Like the guy his job is to do analysis and play by play and free speech and basically give an overview of what's supposed to be done. I've heard many a times on a Yankees
all the time
and a Mets broadcast
all the time,
right? Like Keith Hernandez says things that like that guy just sucks and whatever, but. Michael Kay, give him credit. He'll call out.
He'll call out
things, right? I mean, and Yankees and Mets management never give those guys an issue. And those, we know Yes is owned by the Yankees and SNY is owned by the Mets and all this stuff, but you never get it. I just think it's a ridiculous thing for them to get involved. And I thought he said a positive thing. I don't even think he said anything negative. I think he was saying how much better this team is than it was in the past.
When I first saw that, Vinny, I kept looking at the transcript saying, "Oh, there must be more to it. Oh, he must have said something out of line." But it wasn't even the case.
I know.
Essentially, he was just spewing out facts of a team that had trouble and then improved their record, and then you suspend someone for that. It makes that organization look terrible.
Imagine if I worked for the Jets. I would have been suspended for 3 years. Especially when I said you're going to start the season 0-6.
Listen, but that's their job. You have all these announcers talking about things,
and people want to hear that stuff. They want to
hear comparisons. I thought it was one of the worst suspensions I've ever seen, because to me it's like, what kind of point were you trying to make? And then I know he's back now, right?
Yeah, and he took the high road.
But you mark my word, he'll find another job next season.
He took the high road. He said he has a good relationship with management and ownership and all this stuff. He took the high road. He didn't call them out or anything. So, he had listen. He has every right, but again, he has a living, right? That's his living. That's the way he pays his bills. He's not going to sit there and get suspended for the rest of the season just to say that, ownership suspended him, over something nonsensical. But you're right. He'll probably end up a free agent, or his contract is up or whatever, and some other organization will pick him up as a play-by-play guy.
But you know what? You're right, Vinny. He took the high road, and he has nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, nothing.
No. Now, let me ask you. If you're the president of the 76ers and James Harden says, "Michael Diener, I'm never playing for you again," how are you feeling about that?
It's not a surprise, Vinny. I mean, can you be surprised by that, Vinny?
James Harden he's just, does he realize he's won nothing? Like, he does not have a single title. When he's been in these big games, he's done nothing. Like what he does in the regular season is 37-point averages, his MVPs. No one cares.
No one cares.
Win a championship.
Right.
And then he goes out, and now all of a sudden he's got a problem with the Sixers because what? He's not getting another $50 million deal. He's not getting a Jaylen Brown deal. He's not getting 60.
This is what we talk about.
Anthony Davis is getting $60 million a season.
This is what we talk about. Legacy. James Harden could be a great player, but until you produce in the playoffs, and the way he constantly wants out all the time, that's not going to end up good for you, right? So reputation is everything. And again, like, he wants out. Doesn't even give it a chance, right? It was the same thing with the Nets. Same thing.
I know. He did it. I think he did it in Houston as well.
So
he's done it everywhere.
So that's why I told you I have the utmost respect for people like Steph Curry, because Steph Curry was on a Golden State team that won 15 games, and he said, "You know what? I want to build this team. I want to stay on this team." Right?
Yeah.
And even like with Milwaukee, Giannis, right? I don't think that guy has any intention of leaving Milwaukee. No. He's proud of the fan base. He's proud to be there. Yeah, they didn't win the champion, but like he said, that's where he is, right?
Yeah. I don't think
so. Like you said, until you start showing results and then acting out like this, I don't know.
I just don't understand how these guys operate. I just don't. I don't understand. I don't understand what their end game is. I get it. They want to make the most money they possibly can. I don't begrudge anyone when it comes to making money, but I can't see them. I can't see anyone being happy as a fan or anything to hear that. And then that guy gets traded to your team. I don't think ultimately, I don't think you're happy about that. I don't want a guy like that on my team. I like my Jalen Brunson, right? A real team player, a guy that's in these world
That's what you want. You want someone with grit.
He's even a team player over there. He was hoping Donovan Mitchell would play with him even in the World Champ, because there's still rumors of Mitchell coming to the Knicks, right? He wanted to play with him just to see a little chemistry there. He's already thinking about team play and all this stuff. That's the kind of guy, I want. I don't know. It's just very aggravating to me.
Yeah. Aggravating, but not surprising. It's not surprising.
No, I mean, listen, as much as he gave LeBron a hard time for moving from team to team and doing what he did it to win. He didn't do it to get the most money. He did it because he wanted to win championships.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't do it because they weren't paying him a max contract.
Right.
Yeah. You think Kobe Bryant would have ever said, I need to get traded because I need a max contract? No. He got mad at Shaq because he felt Shaq didn't try hard enough in LA to win. Right?
Yeah.
He was, Michael Jordan, wanted to win. He actually took less money to win, right? In those years until like the later years.
Took him 7 years to win a championship.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing everyone thinks differently, but I think when you look at it, this is what you get.
Yep.
This is what you get. All right. A couple other stories that are breaking today. All right. Michael Oher, the Blind Side movie. Supposedly the whole movie is a fake, is a farce, according to him. That he was never adopted, that they just did everything to make money off him. They didn't make a dime off the movie. The family took all the money. I mean, it's the most insane thing I've heard. I mean, that movie was a very long time ago, A. B, I thought he was all part of that, like the premiere. I'm very confused over this whole
thing. I have to read up on that more, but it sounds awful. It sounds like
so crazy.
What is that?
But wouldn't if he said this 10 years ago?
Right. Why is it coming out now? Yeah.
I'm very confused at the whole thing. But if it's true, and again, who knows if it's true? That's even more insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just insane stuff going on. And then the other thing, if it's true, right now he's been put on the MLB restricted list, is this whole Wanda Franco dating a 14-year-old girl from the Dominican Republic. I mean, man, this is the most insane things I've ever heard. I don't know what's going on with some of these guys, and I don't know, the world is a little crazy sometimes, But that again, they suspended him. Well, they don't want to suspend him. They put him on the restricted list. They didn't play him yesterday, which they said was a normal rest day, but I think they already got wind of everything. So I don't know if he's ever going to play baseball again, Mike.
Oh, there's really
foul. And I mean, I saw some of the pictures. Now again, I don't know if the girl's 14 or 18.
Right. Evidence has to come out. Still.
I don't know that. I don't know who the girl really is or not. There's a lot to this. But if any of this is true, I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a whole different ridiculous. It's not even sports anymore. It gets very frustrating. I want to talk about sports, and then this.
What they need. The other thing with that is that's social media, because you go back years ago. Yeah, this would have been a story, but it's not going to be as publicized. Now, social media, you have everything at your fingertips, and things get spread around so easily. So a lot of things that really should be the focus on main sports are taken away from these kind of conversations.
Yeah, and you don't even know if this would have been found out without social media, right?
Correct.
Right? The only reason it's found out because there's pictures posted on social media.
Right.
Right. There's a lot of stuff that now goes on in social media that we would have never known anything about.
No.
Who knows what would have happened to some of these guys that were already in trouble years ago, and if there was social media around.
Yeah.
Imagine Lawrence Taylor with social media. A wild dude back in the day.
Or Dwight Gooden, Strawberry back in the day.
All that
whole
stuff.
Mets team. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Keith Hernandez.
Yeah, yeah,
Got suspended for
yeah.
being a little wild and that stuff. David Cohn, remember?
Well,
You
it's
know,
a different time.
it's just definitely a different time. Definitely a different time. Did you watch any Mets games recently?
I just saw the scores of that Atlanta doubleheader.
The 21-3 football game that they played in.
So I couldn't even text Matt. I couldn't even do it. I think Matt's just pack it in for the season.
Well, we
And
knew that. We knew that's where they're heading anyway.
you know what? It's not just Buck Showalter's not going to be back, and I respect Buck a lot, but it's so
You know,
different.
he'll be back.
I don't think he's going to be back.
You think he's going to resign, or you think they're going to fire him?
I think that he'll resign. I just don't think he's in it like he used to be. I just think something's been off this season. It may be a health thing. It may be just, difference of opinion. But I felt like his enthusiasm last year, despite what the record is this year, was just better. I just feel like he's kind of just standing there now. And I don't know. I just feel a difference, body language. I felt that even before they got so bad, like even when they were playing decent, to be honest.
I mean, he's 67, so he's not really old.
No.
Right? He's only 77. I don't even know if 77's old nowadays.
It's not old either.
All right? Like, you got to be like 102 now to be old.
There you go.
I don't know. I can't see them saying that they're preparing for 2025. I don't think that's.
How can you not say that? Because they're going after. They're looking.
They're going to go after guys. They're going to go after guys.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a bid for Ohtani. Let's be real.
Think.
I would.
Well, how can you not?
Maybe you won't accept your bid, but at least you gotta put it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's gonna get what, 500 million, 10 years,
Something like that.
A
Crazy.
lot of big salaries out there now.
I know the salaries are insane.
Anthony Davis is getting $60 million a year extension for 3 years. Get $180 million.
We picked the wrong industry.
$50 million. It's because I'm too short. If I was 6'10", I'd be a millionaire. Imagine if you were Wemby 7'5".
Yeah,
You don't even have to do anything.
no, I watched highlights. He just goes like this.
Yeah. You could be half the athlete.
I know.
You just learn to block shots and rebound. Bowl didn't know how to play
No,
basketball.
New Bowl couldn't do much, but he just stayed with this.
Him nowadays, he would get $30 million a year just to block shots.
Just to block shots. Yeah.
Remember Mark Eaton?
Yeah, from the Jazz.
Yeah, he was. That's all he did.
He was a force.
7'4", 7'5".
Yeah, he was a force.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, Hulk Hogan turned 70.
Did he really?
Yeah, the Hulkster's 70.
Hulkster.
Patrick Ewing's birthday was the other day too.
He must be 60.
Yeah, in his 60s, right?
Isn't that crazy?
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing.
Hulk Hogan turned 70. Think about that.
So 40 years ago.
Oh, 40 years ago, he was 30 when he did Rocky 3.
Jeez. And he looked older than 30 then.
He had no hair back then.
I know.
I don't think he's ever had hair.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, Mike.
Good show. No, I just want to say continue to watch Hard Knocks. The season is upon us. We got 3 weeks. And
We're coming back to our Monday, Tuesday shows very permanently soon. NFL full gear.
We'll do our picks.
I think Monday the 28th is my ESPN fantasy draft, which is 2 weeks from today. Now, I talked to Anthony, and he says he's working, so I can't do it on my own. Now, I know you're not a fantasy guy, and it's 8 o'clock at night, so it's an hour past your bedtime. So I might have to find another guest host to help me just, someone I can just talk to and talk back so I can actually breathe and drink a glass of water.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you could find someone for me.
Maybe Kyle will do it.
Is he a fantasy guy?
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Well, he's at least I mean, he'll have to hear about him crying about Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think he's crying about it.
I'd like to get his thoughts on Jordan Love. We got to get him on football season.
We'll get him on.
We got to get some of those Packer team on again.
Yeah, that was a fun Packer crew. We'll get him on.
All right, that was a fun show.
That was a great show.
We still owe them a night in the city. We forgot about them.
Well, we got it this year.
Maybe.
Now they're now just with different quarterbacks.
Oh, God. It's a shame the Jets aren't playing the Packers.
I know. That would have been awesome.
Oh, my God. I tell you, this whole Sean Payton thing is going to be exciting, too.
Yeah, you'll see that.
I think the Jets are not happy at all as a franchise with their comments about their offensive coordinator.
That Denver game is early in the season, so we'll see.
Yeah. Russell Wilson, done or not done? What do you think?
Not done.
Not done.
No.
Well, some people think he's done. Some people thought he was done his last year in Seattle, and
I think he's going to have some surprises.
Think he'll rebound?
Yeah.
How about Derek Carr in New Orleans?
I got to say yes because I wanted him on the Jets.
Are they gonna win the division in the South?
No comment.
There's no one there. They have to win the division by default.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of competition.
I mean, Atlanta, Tampa, Carolina. I mean, you got 3 teams that might win 4 games.
I know. It's going to be real bad.
Atlanta. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Who else? Jimmy Garoppolo.
He'll win 6 games this year.
All right.
That's my pick. 6 games, Raiders.
James, then we get rid of his ass and get somebody else in there.
I think the Eagles will win the NFC East.
Are they going to win the NFC back to the Super Bowl?
So hard to come by, but they're stacked. I can't see them not. So.
Early prediction. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like? Chiefs, Eagles, Bengals, Eagles, Jets, Eagles. I mean, I know you can't go against your team when they're.
I'm not going to go against my team. I'm all in on the Jets this year. So
Jets, Eagles. That'd be a very interesting.
You know what would be an even more incredible, very long. We talked about this team. Jets versus the Detroit Lions.
Jets, Lions, Super Bowl.
What are the odds for that? I will
Jared Goff versus Aaron Rodgers.
I will put $100 on that.
That's probably a pretty good plus bet right now.
I'll go look at it. I'll put $100 on that. Just
the Lions were 22-1 to win the NFC.
I know,
which was the biggest team that people were betting on DraftKings.
Yeah.
How about ESPN getting into the sports book?
I think it's pretty cool.
They partnered or they bought or
I heard about this.
Whatever Barstool was doing, Barstool got out of it. Portnoy is back in charge of Barstool, but the betting went to ESPN, like that part of it. Penn National, whatever that company is. They're trying to give ESPN a 20% share on the betting.
Huh.
About 80% of it right now is FanDuel and DraftKings. So I don't know where they get that 20% number from now. I mean, ESPN's a big vehicle to promote, but I don't know. That's a big number to get to.
We shall see.
I wonder if ESPN owns their actual casinos now.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
You know, maybe we'll get what's his name? Stephen A. Smith live from a Penn National casino with Mad Dog Russo.
That'd be hilarious.
People were so mad at Stephen A. Smith the other day because he said IKF was the reason the Yankees are so bad this year.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So mad at him. They were like, he's one of the best players on the team, which is even worse.
Yeah.
By the way, I did say Joey Gallo went 4 for 4 the other day, which he did with 2 home runs. He had 6 hits in the entire month of July.
Yes, there you go. There's always a Joey Gallo story.
Hey, listen.
He's
the guy makes Dave Kingman a Hall of Fame.
That was one of your favorite topics last year.
Oh, it drove me crazy every time he played. Yeah, I told you we haven't had a left fielder since Ricky Henderson.
I know it's been a long time.
Yeah. So, all right, Mike. That's it. I'm done. You done?
I'm done.
All right. I will talk to you next week.
See you next week, Vin.
Bye.
Later.